Fantastic. Well, once again, a very warm welcome to Secrets to a Successful No Buy Year. So I'm really excited to be delivering this workshop, which I've created based upon my own personal experience. So also, I'm going to talk you through my objectives. You've seen what I've got on the, when you signed up to do the course, but I'm just going to go over that again and give you the course structure, and then we'll come over to you. It's very much going to be interactive, and I want you very much to go away with confidence and with purpose. And obviously these are my objectives. I want you to have confidence. I'm hoping that I'm going to unlock your hidden confidence and enable you to help facilitate you to have a successful no buy year, whatever shape or form that may take. I very much intend to give you the structure of how you're going to do this. And we're going to be talking about your mindset, because Liz, looking at your question, that's definitely going to come into that. So we're going to be looking at your mindset, because that is key to keeping buoyant. And then obviously I'm going to be offering you the support along the way, here, and obviously we can chat. And we've obviously got the Unlock Your Hidden Confidence community, or Sparkle and Shine. You're both in Sparkle and Shine, so we can use that if you have any questions. So those are that's my plan. Is that what you thought it was going to be? Can I have some thumbs up, some yeses? Is that what you thought you were getting tonight?
Yeah, most definitely.
Good. Okay, so let's just come to you both, and let's because obviously Lana, I know you don't really know Liz, and Liz, you don't really know Lana, so let's just have some introductions from you both. And also within those introductions, let's have an indication from you whether you have anything on top of the objectives that I have already stated, and then I can make sure I've got those written down and we can address them. So Liz, over to you first, please.
Right. Well, yeah. Hi. Thanks, Lara. I love clothes, don't we all? But I've got to the point now that in my bedroom, I have two huge wardrobes, one of which was my late husband's, but they are now full to capacity. You struggle to get a hanger in them, right? I know some of them are costumes for my performances and singing, and that's fine. However, they're crammed in. And I have two huge chests of drawers as well, one on either side of the bedroom, all full. And like most people, I take things off the top. And now I was part of the pilot of Lara's wardrobe review. And well, you know how much I cleared out, Lara, don't you? Because I know not as much as Michelle, but we had bags full for you, didn't we, for the Swindon shop for the refuge. But I'm almost not quite back to the same point again, but I'm kind of feeling that when I open my wardrobe, you can see there's like a coral or a peach section, or like a teal section, you know what I mean? And they're colours, but there's just far too much. And as I put in my question, I go on eBay and oh, it's all right, it's pre-loved. Or I go into a charity shop, oh, it's pre-loved. Mind you, having said that, I did pick up an amazing Hobbs geranium red jacket for £7.50 in a charity shop in Salisbury, so I did buy that. That's fair enough. But that's, and you kind of think, oh well, it's pre-loved, but what's the point if you still don't need it? And I think that's the next. Having done the wardrobe review with you, there are more bad habits that need to be addressed, I suppose.
Yes, bad habits. And I think it's habits. Where's your questions? Where have I put your questions? It's habits that I wrote down on here. I put had your questions. Oh, they're underneath. Yes, it's great. Yeah. It's habits that I put is about breaking that cycle, breaking the habits.
Yes.
And Lana, absolutely. If I just put this into perspective, so I did like a sort of 5-day, I was using Sparkle and Shine as a dummy run. It was during the first lockdown, wasn't it?
No, it was a pilot project. It wasn't a dummy run, it was a pilot project.
Thank you, pilot project. Thank you. A pilot project of decluttering your wardrobe. And then Liz came with just her and Michelle, and Liz's car was absolutely jam-packed. And we transferred that to Richard's estate car that we had at the time. I haven't got his estate car anymore. And it was full to the brim.
We were struggling to get it all in, weren't we?
We were. So that's an indication of how much we decluttered. So for you to say that you are still full then yes, we need to address that. So this is going to be part of your why, Liz, as we move on later on in the evening to addressing why you're going to do this. But thank you for being so honest. Lana, so hang on, just go back to your objectives then, Liz. So anything on top of here? Because obviously I've talked about confidence, structure, mindset. What else have you got on your list?
It's, I mean, it's a hard one, isn't it? I'm struggling how to phrase it. I still buy things that don't meet my lifestyle anymore. I mean, I'm back in schools invigilating, so I'm wearing some of my professional stuff again. But I've got really formal dresses for that I would have worn to army events. I mean, when Ben was at Sandhurst, I probably needed more of those. But now that he's way up in Catterick, I don't go to that level of formality. But again, I've got this teal dress in the wardrobe that I bought on eBay. Doesn't really suit me. It's too shapeless. But anyway, there we are. So, I'm still falling into that trap of, oh, that looks nice on eBay, I'll buy it, or what have you. And, I've closed the tab on the laptop. It is no longer visible when I open the laptop.
Good. That was going to be one of my suggestions. Good. Okay. We will come back to that, Liz, because I think it's probably about tightening up your criteria. I know we're going to veer off slightly, but I think it will help you. This will be part of your new behaviours and your action plan in order to achieve your outcome of a no buy year. So it is relevant for this. So Lana, can we come to you? If you could just introduce yourself and tell us where you are and yes, any other objectives for this workshop this evening, please?
Hi, I'm Lana. So it's nice to meet you, Liz. What can I tell you? I think I'm probably the opposite end of the spectrum to Liz, actually, because obviously after I had my colours done with you, Lara, I just ripped everything out of my wardrobe that just was not part of my season. That left a massive gaping hole, and historically I've never really been into clothes and clothes shopping. So weirdly, I kind of don't have enough clothes. So what I've found has happened over the winter, and partly because I'm waiting to come and see Lara for my style, so I'm reluctant to purchase until I've had that bit done. So what I'm finding is I'm actually having to wear my summer clothes with cardigans, my summer tops, because I haven't purchased, and because I don't enjoy shopping. What I tend to do is if I absolutely desperately need something, I'll just pop into Sainsbury's and grab something. But at least I do it in my colour now, because I did go and get my knickers in my right colours. And I was really disappointed because actually I have lost a little bit of weight, and my knickers, just get intimate here, my knickers are now too large, and they don't have spring knickers in Sainsbury's, which is just an absolute trauma at the moment.
That's just rude.
That's just quite the elastic.
But at this rate, Laura, I'm going to be putting blooming string around them to keep them up.
Oh goodness me.
So I kind of am at the other end. Although I give a lot of stuff to charity, I'm quite ruthless and I'm quite good at decluttering. And actually that's become kind of an ingrained habit. Before I'm about to start a project, I'll go and declutter. But obviously not on clothes anymore, because there are very few. I can get all of my clothes into a single wardrobe, and there's still space for my clothes to be there. But I'm almost the anorexic side of clothing now, that I don't know what a capsule wardrobe should have in it. I don't know how to go about getting it. I know I need neutrals. I don't know quite how they fit. Yeah, so I'm kind of a bit of a novice when it comes to getting a good working wardrobe. And the other flip side now is obviously working from home now, whereas I used to I was quite good when I was working at university. I'm a linen person, because I do find I get electric shocks from anything that's non-natural. but even then they were kind of smart wear, so, and it wouldn't faze me to go, and like I spent £350 on a really nice net cardigan from this lovely boutique in Henley-on-Thames, whereas, so it's not that I won't go and buy, but it's almost like, because I'm not quite sure what to buy and how to create that wardrobe of a bit of everything, that now, obviously being behind the screen most of the time, I just live in jeans and a t-shirt, or jeans and a jumper, or jeans and, you know, this.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Lana. I think both of you have raised issues to do with your wardrobe. They're not necessarily issues for a no buy year, but they're issues for a wardrobe which we can address within Sparkle and Shine, or if we need longer time and a longer workshop. So I've written that down, and I will come back to that. Lana, I'm going to provoke you now. You know that I'm probably going to do that. I'm going to say to you, you clearly don't really like shopping, and I am going to put it out there right now, and I think Liz will back me up, that a lot of your concerns, the things that you've spoken about there, would be resolved by having style class. Okay, so you'd agree with that, would you, Liz?
Oh, most definitely, yeah.
Yeah. However, in terms of the no buy year, I am just going to ask the question, is this an excuse? Is this an excuse so that you don't actually have to buy anything because you don't like shopping, and you don't, because it's hard work putting your wardrobe in order. I've got somebody on my my one-to-one program who had colour, and now she did the style, but she's on my new improved course where she's got the month's support, and obviously we're having those calls afterwards. And the last week's call, she said, my gosh, she said, this is hard work, isn't it? And I said, it is hard work. I said, the hard work will pay off, because you will get to the point where you will be your own stylist, and by the time I finish with you at the end of January, you're going to be in a much better place than she was when I first had the discovery call with her back in late October, November. She'd come from the podcast. She lives down in Portsmouth. So yeah, so I am going to prod you and say, is doing a no buy year going to enable you to hide and not address these issues? Or tell me if I'm way off there.
No, I don't think it is. Okay. I think for me, and no, it's a good question, because I can see how easy it would be to hide behind it. No, it's not that. I know, and I know logically, consciously, that for me to feel even more, you know, I was so confident after the colour with you, and I love the colours that I've got. They, you know, and they lift me as soon as I put them on. And the fact that I only have them around me now, and I was super ruthless with just getting rid of anything that didn't fit into them. And I've even resisted creep, because there is a bag downstairs that hasn't managed to get to the charity shop yet, because obviously when we moved, we're quite rural now from the nearest charity shop, so I tend to kind of wait for several bags, and there is one bag that has all of my last year's not Christmas jumpers, but winter clothing, and I haven't actually wanted to be tempted to go and get them just for warmth either. So it's not that. I think there's two things. One is I don't feel very confident in what I need to look for to look really good from a style perspective. So part of it has been holding off until I can get to you and have that session. But I think the other thing is that's kind of compounded with yes, there is a part of me that's like, oh God, the thought of going off shopping just fills me with like, oh, I've got far more better things to do with my time. And I know that sounds awful, but I'd rather be playing with tech, honestly, and I would going around shopping centres.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
And you are at a very different, oh sorry Liz, I was just going to say, you are at a very different stage to your journey than Liz. So, sorry Liz, what were you going to say?
I was only merely going to say that I think, Lana, once you've had your style, you will view it very, very differently, because you'll know what length of skirt, for example, you're looking for, or what shape of trouser, or what size of belt or accessory that you're looking for. And I think that will give you a lot more confidence to go to those shops and think, yeah, no, that's not me. That's possible. Or that's definitely me. I think you will find that the style day will give you a huge boost of confidence in that respect.
And if we think about your questions that you wrote on the sheet, Lana, I've put by the side, you know, after a style day, I'll even send you away with a list of shops where you're going to find the items, which will help significantly. But don't forget, you are still at the early stages of combining colour and getting used to this. So for instance, what you're wearing tonight, which is great, you're in neutral, but I'm going to say to you as a spring, get those pops of colour. Where's your coral scarf? Pop your coral scarf around there, and it's just getting into the habit. So I think that word habit has already come up a couple of times for us this evening. That will help you. And I think that doing the no buy year as well, when you're ready to do it, and it sounds to me like we've got some preparation to do for you before you embark upon the no buy year, because you've got to be in a place where you've got enough clothes to sustain it, to be quite frank, haven't you? So I think yours is going to be the preparation, and that's part of what I wanted this workshop to be. I thought that there would be people at different phases, and when I run it again towards the end of the year, I'm very much going to hope that I'm going to be gearing people up to start, you know, whether it be June the 1st or might be April the 1st, go with the tax year, you know, but you can start it whenever, but you have got to be prepared, and we will come on to that. So does that help you, Lana? Does that feel a bit more reassuring?
Yes, and you know, underlying all of this is I do need to find some spring knickers.
Spring knickers.
That's crucial.
It's absolutely crucial now.
But what styling of spring knickers?
Socks though. Do you not find the same with socks? I mean, I'm an autumn, so obviously we're both warm, but so you're trying to find or you'll find like one pair in a pack that's the right colour, and the rest will be like navy blues and stuff like that. It's really hard, isn't it? Sorry, that's a ridiculous aside, but no,
it's not. It is really hard, because obviously I've gone over to, because I think, you know, I get so cold. I think when my heart's not pumping properly, my toes and my fingers get so cold. And I've gone over to Lorna's bamboo socks because they're cool in the summer and they're warm in the winter, and they've been brilliant. But yes, you have to pick them. But Thought, because she has Thought socks. Last year I had some knee highs, which were brilliant because it added an extra warmth. They've stopped doing them this year. Can I get knee highs? No, I can't. But I have just seen a pair in jewels, but they're mustard, so they're perfect for you if you need to keep warm. They've got little buzzy bees on them. But yes, it is really hard to find your socks. And if you are going to have your socks showing, even if you have a boot on and then you're sitting down with a jean and it shows, then yes,
showing, don't you?
For us classic ingenues, that's important to us. It might not be for someone who's natural, but
oh, it would give me such angst.
But we get anxious about that type of thing, don't we? And that's the wonderful thing about all the different personalities, which I absolutely love and find fascinating. I'll never forget one of the first style classes I had back at Forest Hill, and I had 4 people sat at the kitchen table, and I'd set all the packs out with all the paper, and honestly I nearly wet myself laughing how obviously at the beginning of the day I didn't know who was who, but seeing how they dealt with their paper and whether they picked up a pen, a pencil or a felt tip pen, how they then wrote their notes. And some people were scribbling out, whereas other people had to have it really, really neat and it all had to be the same color. Says so much about the personality. And it's all those little things that help me, pieces of the puzzle to work out, you know, their style personality. I just thought I'd put that in there. Right, so ladies, we will address these things, and I think this brings us nicely on to how we're going to start and on our why, because obviously on the podcast episode and on my recording of my review of my no buy year, I was really clear about why I did it. So I woke up on January the 1st, 2020, and yes, it was a whim. It really was a whim, but it was right. Okay, how am I going to move my business forward this year? Right. Okay, I want to prove to everybody, I want to practice what I preach, and I want to prove to everybody that when you know your color and style, you will eventually have everything in your wardrobe that you need, that you can mix and match together to have a capsule wardrobe and have an outfit for any occasion. So I wanted to be living proof, because I can't ask all my clients to do it if I'm not doing it myself. So that was my motivation. That was my why. And this is what we are going to come on to now, to talk about your why and why people have a no buy year. So we're going to use the chat box, ladies. Now, obviously, you two are thinking about clothes, aren't you? You're thinking about having a no buy year to do with clothes. But of course, as I said in the podcast, a no buy year can be for many, many different reasons. It could be that you're not going to have takeaways. It could be that you're going to have a no-buy year on pre-packed ready meals, or you're going to have a no-buy year on not having takeout coffee. It can be on anything. So let's just have a think now, personally for you, about your why. And it could be that you've heard other people talk about a no-buy year and why. So let's have some comments in the chat box. We can have some general comments and we can have your comments. Why do people have a no-buy year? Pop it in the chat box.
Sorry, because I'm on my iPad, I've got to find the chat box. I know where it is on the laptop. Let me find it.
Is it easier for you to say it, Liz? We don't have to use
possibly.
The chat box.
I can't. Sorry, I'm peering at you closely.
No, that's fine. Don't worry then, because there's only 2 of us. If we'd had 6 of us, I would have needed to use the chat box. So no, let's just brainstorm it verbally then. Lana, you can touch it in the chat box if you want, or speak. So why do you think people do a no-buy year?
I think a variety of reasons. I think we're all very, very much more aware of sustainability and the environment. That's a big issue. I feel like I waste a lot of money on clothes. I mean, whether it's £5 in a charity shop or whatever on eBay, that's not the point, is it? If it's not useful and I'm not going to wear it, it's still a waste, rather like you said about the sales. And I'm just conscious, I want to break the cycle, I suppose, because I tried this at the start of last year, didn't I? Yeah. And then, of course, I came and had my style review with you, and that kind of blew it out the water a bit. So I didn't think I did half a year, didn't I?
You did.
So I just think I think I want to break the cycle because, yes, okay, I can go, I mean, as I say, I couldn't walk past the Hobbs jacket because it's stunningly beautiful. And I think that's my other part of my problem, because I have such a large amount of classic in my personality. I can't resist those more formal things. And I mean, I must admit, even when I'm not going anywhere, I drove to Cardiff to see my sister the weekend, and I put a nice skirt and a nice jumper on just because I wanted to. So I think I'm always going to have that in my personality, but I just want to break that cycle of buying for the sake of buying, and then it is all just crammed in a drawer or a wardrobe and hardly ever sees the light of day, if ever.
Exactly. And you will, Liz. You putting on a skirt and a formal jacket or wearing jeans with that Hobbs jacket, that is in your clothing personality, and that's
me, isn't it?
Fine. It's who we are. Lana, what about you? What's your perception on why people do a no-buy year?
I think some of it is kind of more of a kind of philosophical is probably the wrong word to use, but there's something around longevity of clothing. So for me, and certainly as sort of when I was growing up, it was very much, kind of you make things last. That was a childhood thing. And then, of course, when you get into your adulthood and you start comparing with other people, and it's like, oh, that's probably put you in scarcity in some kind of, psychological model. And so then I did have a period of time where, I had loads of clothes everywhere, and I kind of, bought them for the sake of buying them rather than because I actually really wanted them. So some of that was an emotional response then, and thinking, okay, I don't need to fulfill my emotions by purchasing clothing or anything else for that matter. So what's going on? So, but also there's something for me about, good quality clothing lasts. But then the question is, how do you maintain it staying kind of up to date when you see so many fashions and trends coming and going? And to be able to still look stylish, comfortable, and yourself, and not looking like a clothes horse, which would be my absolute pet hate, to have something draped on me and feel like I'm parading around the clothing and it's not representing or replicating or being part of my personality.
That, I promise you, will be sorted out as style, because fashion comes and goes, but your image, what's right for you, has longevity. You can bring fashion and trend into it if it fits to enhance your look, but you will be really clear on what suits you. So for instance, if I always use the example of leggings, okay, because leggings were hugely fashionable, weren't they? And leggings with tunic tops. And I remember my friend Lizzie saying, oh, Laura, this was after I was divorced and on my own. Laura, you've got to have leggings. You've got to have leggings in a tunic shop at top. And you need to have patent boots to go with it, and a necklace that came down to here. And off we trotted and went out to the pub one night. Oh my gosh, I felt so uncomfortable because it wasn't me. It was her, but it wasn't me. So having my style done gave me permission that I never, ever have to wear a pair of leggings ever again. If I did wear a pair of leggings, it would just be for exercise only. Yeah, does that make sense? So it gives you permission because you've got that clarity, and it gives you the confidence to do it. So I know that will come, Lana, when we have your style. I like the way you talked about an emotional response there, and Liz, it's your turn for me to provoke you now, because actually I'm wondering here whether part of you breaking the cycle is because there is some kind of emotional response. I wonder whether there's something about having these nice garments. Does it somehow make us feel good? Maybe there was a time in our life when we couldn't have them. I don't know. Certainly for
I should think on that. I'm sure that that's part of it, because I have a lot of emotional issues around food. So it could be that may be spilling over into that. Oh, I like that, I'm going to have it. I like that, I'm going to have it. Because
we perhaps had a time when we couldn't. Lana, it was only when you were just saying that then that something came in my mind. It was back to, you were saying about clothes were handed down, and I remember having clothes from my cousin and from my second cousin. I remember this yellow dress that came from Nancy and Nancy's bag. You know, when the bag came, I'd be so excited. And I wonder for me whether when I got divorced and I had my own money, and for the first time ever I wasn't accountable, didn't have to answer to anyone, I did go bananas on buying clothes. And I wonder if it was because, just hearing you say that, this is what came in my head. Perhaps it's because I could, and I had all those years where I couldn't, and that money wasn't spent on me. I think maybe I've got that out of my system now, but I think, you know, often on the Aspire course, Lana, when you were on Aspire with me, that's one of the things that actually cropped up, which I hadn't even thought about. But maybe there's something in my background that because my mum didn't particularly buy lots of clothes, and it wasn't, she had that notion of not feeling worthy. I can't spend all that money on myself. I inherited that and I adopted that, and it's taken me a while to break that cycle. So this is why I think it's really important that we establish our why, and we look at why we're doing it, because when we know why we're doing a challenge such as this, we can put things in place to keep us on track. So I'm going to share my screen. I have made a little handout for you, or should I say my lovely tech lady has helped me make a handout. So Liz, there will be a copy for you afterwards. I purposely decided not to send it out before, because I didn't want you all looking at it before. You understand that, being a teacher?
There's your teacher head going on there.
I know.
Bustling through it.
You would have looked at all of that before we came on and made prejudgments about the workshop. So I didn't want that. So I'm assuming that you probably got a notebook by the side anyway for you to make your notes, which I knew you would have. So this can be your best copy. But equally, you having it as a handout afterwards means that you can refer back to it and do it again and again. And I'm sure that I will update it as the more of these that I do, because obviously this is my first one. So here we go. No buy year, secrets to a successful no buy year. Now, obviously in the podcast, I talk about a no buy year being that pledge to only use what you already have. And this is what you're talking about. You've got all those clothes in that wardrobe. So you need to commit and make this pledge. I'm always going to highlight that word for you. Whatever language works for you, whether it be pledge, commitment, because I want you to look at that today as well, the language that works and resonates with you, that's going to help you commit to this and do this. Obviously for you, Lana, it's not a pledge to use what you already have. Yours perhaps is more that you have come to a point in your life where you now want to have a wardrobe of clothes that suit you, both colour and in style, and you want to be buying sustainably, you want to be buying for longevity, and you actually this year, I very much see you being in this planning phase of getting the things that you need so that you can embark upon your no buy year, which I think will naturally come as part of your personality. It's not necessarily for you that you're taking up the challenge. I think actually it's probably more of your lifestyle. And Lana, may I share with Liz about you share with Liz your plans for the future about downsizing?
Yes, well, long term we want to get to RV, so motorhome and travel around, but then eventually to move into a tiny home, so buy land and have a tiny home on it, or a cluster of them, so that we could, you know, have people come over, or Airbnb.
Yeah, RV life. And in fact, I meant to send you a message, Lana, to ask you if you watched the programme with Sue Perkins the other night on Channel 4.
No.
Oh, you need to see it. Liz, did you see it?
No, I saw her on the One Show talking about it, but I thought I might watch it on catch up because I think she's hilarious anyway.
Do.
Yeah, there was obviously she enjoyed it, but there were challenges, weren't there?
Yes, do. There's one more episode to go next week, and she's doing RV life. She's doing camper van life in America, doing 2 states, and she meets people who have adopted this way of living. So I just thought you'd be watching it. Oh, I should have sent you a message.
No,
right.
Well, because we don't have terrestrial TV, I only ever use Amazon Prime. So I mean, I can get catch up obviously with the channels, but yeah, so I don't watch any terrestrial TV. So yes, I will go and find that out. Thank you.
Channel 4 catch up. So yes, so already we've got 2 very different perspectives about a no buy year coming up from you ladies. But the reason I asked you just to sort of brainstorm about this no buy year and your why, and I've just put a few things down on here because it is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to embark upon a personal challenge. And Liz, I very much see this as part of your why, because you need to break. You're saying, I've written down your language here. You are using the language of breaking the cycle. But those are your words. You need to break the cycle. So for you to have a challenge, for you to succeed that you have done it, I think will break that cycle. I think we're going to have to put a little bit more in place around that. It is a commitment to utilising fully everything you already have. So I think when we actually have you writing this down and you have it visible somewhere in the kitchen or by the side of your bed that you look at every night in a journal, I don't know what works for you, but I do think this will help you see every day your why, and it will just keep drumming it in and again. I mean, we know that from being in the classroom, repetition. Oh gosh, yes. So this is what we're going to be doing for you. We're going to be retraining your mind. It definitely will put your spending habits under review, because even those £5 and £7.50 and £10 in the charity shop, they still add up. And something that I've been doing, in fact, it's since we had our annual review with our financial advisor, because obviously we've had a big change of circumstance, and for once we've actually had money in the bank, you know, ready to start on this build. And it was, but equally, we knew we can't use it. You know, it's all been a bit difficult. And obviously with Richard taking a significant wage cut when he was made redundant, she said, I mean, although we kind of budget in our head, I hadn't gone to the lengths of what I'm doing now. And I'm doing it now because I want to see, and I am literally recording everything. I have an old school exercise book, Liz, and I've got it broken down to our outgoings. I've then got the budget for entertainment or eating out or fuel or other. But I'm noticing in the column that is other food, so other than my weekly Tesco order, during November and December, the amounts that when we stopped, or when Richard stopped at to get fuel, and there's a little Marks and Spencer's in the petrol station, because obviously I love those Marks and Spencer crisps, and I love Marks and Spencer cream eclairs. So on the receipt is like £14.56, and of course I'm recording that now, and I'm making a real effort in January. We've not had any M&S runs, because actually that was equating to nearly £60 a month.
Gosh.
because
Right.
it's that £14. You know, he'd then pick up the tubs of little millionaire shortbread or flapjacks, and oh, Louisa, here's a dairy-free one for you, because we pretty much had her all of December. And it does, you see how it adds up. And I was shocked when I could see that it was £15 here, and that then you times that by 4, and how easily you're at £60. So it does, I think it will help you put your spending habits under review. And I'm going to perhaps also challenge you, Liz, that you go back through your receipts and look at the last 3 months and look at what you did spend in a charity shop.
Yeah, and you know, you made me smile there, because that's how Mum taught us when we first started earning our own money, and you had your own bank account. We all, both myself and my 2 sisters, we all had, you know, we had like an old exercise book, because Mum's really into figures, and I used to record everything I spent and then the balance. But obviously I know I do it online now. I check my account quite regularly. But I think the physical act of writing something down kind of makes it more accountable in some ways.
It does. And then I'm adding up on the calculator. Yes, I think it's all too easy online. It was the physical seeing it. That's what I meant about, if we get you some kind of, after tonight, you'll have a visual of your why.
Yes,
and we'll
yes,
absolutely. Have that somewhere. So yes, put your spending habits under review. And of course, the flip of that is, I'm going to say to you, Liz, well, with the money that you save, what are you going to do with that?
Well, interestingly, because rather like you said many moons ago about allocating yourself an amount in the budget, I have been doing that. I've got a little standing order into a separate account, and I've actually just spent it, but not on clothes. Or I've signed up to do a level 2 counselling course at Peter Symonds College, because I don't know if you know, but I volunteer for a children's bereavement charity.
No, I didn't.
Called Simon Says.
Right.
And I just thought, I'm not going to be a counsellor, but I want better skills. So the money that was in that account that I haven't spent, I have now sent off a cheque to the college for that. So I think, I mean, I'm still going to carry on that standing order, but I think that's what I'm going to pick something specific to use it for.
Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. Well done. Good for you. I've also put down here that a no buy year gives you permission to opt out of this cycle of consumerism. I talk about that in my video, how liberated I found it, because obviously House of Colour would tell me that I had to update my wardrobe constantly, and I always had to look one level above my clients, and all of this. And actually it was exhausting, and it cost so much money. So I actually found it a relief. I enjoyed not being sucked up in that. Liz, this is the one for you. Break an old habit and form a new habit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think House of Colour have got that wrong, because that could be intimidating to clients.
I agree. And I do think
that just came to me. Yeah.
Yes, no, I agree. And I do think they have shifted a little bit. Now they've got a lot more American consultants come on who are a bit young and hip and what have you. I think they are breaking that. But I think some of them are going the other way. I look at Jo in the Kettlewell Colour Club, who obviously used to be House of Colour. I look at her lives. I mean, on Friday, she had a Connie jumper on, and she obviously wears denim, even though she
usually wears dark blue jeans, doesn't she? I've seen a few of them.
But she had, a really tatty fringed, mini skirt. And I just think to myself, is she going the other way?
But then she's obviously not got any classic in her personality, has she?
No, but she is representing a brand.
But she is the face of the brand. It's
I
true.
wouldn't want her representing my brand that way. But anyway, there we go.
Anyway, so yes, that is key, isn't it? Break an old habit and form a new habit. Yeah, that's key.
Yeah, benefit from the additional time, and we will talk about time. It's not just money; it's time you will save that you can then use for other things. I definitely think it's going to reduce your stress. I definitely think you're going to inspire others. Yeah, and you're going to be a thought leader, because actually, if you look at what I did, I'm now being a thought leader, aren't I? And I'm using an experience to inspire and help others. So this is what I'm sort of about. I see these very much as opportunities, and now we are going to look at your why. So when you download this pack, Liz, this is what I want you to be scribbling on, and you, Lana, why are you doing this? So I think most definitely for you, Liz, it's because you need to break the cycle.
Definitely.
Can't resist something. I mean, however you want to word that. So if you could just please spend a few minutes just jotting down I mean, I'm going to say a minimum of 3, but I'm hoping that you perhaps have more like 6 reasons about why you are doing this. So let's see what you've got, and then we will chip it back and refine it and really get to the core of why you would be doing a 365-day personal challenge no buy year.
Sorry, I've just looked at I've got an Apple Watch and it's just flashed up. And because I have an email reminder of when Kettlewell size medium are listed, that's going to go. I'm going to unsubscribe from that email.
Brilliant. Brilliant. That's going to go in your action plan.
That's just so ironic that that's just flashed up on my watch. Yeah.
Right. Brilliant. Brilliant. Okay. So let's look at why. And I'm hoping as well that we'll inspire each other. And I think also your why. And this is another reason why I've got the pack prepared for you, because I want you to add to it, because it was only as I was reflecting, as I was going through my no buy year at the end, did I realize that the sense of accomplishment that I had, that wasn't a reason at the beginning, but, and it was about this, I've got to practice what I preach and show everybody that you could have a capsule wardrobe. But by the end of the year, actually my why was that I had this huge sense of accomplishment, that I had completed a challenge that actually a lot of people would find really, really hard. And also probably a lot of image consultants would find really, really hard. So there was that, patting myself on the back, which of course I find quite a hard thing to do, but it was nurturing me. It validated me. It validated my expertise. It validated me as an expert in what I was doing, that I could then inspire other people to do it. So I almost want you to have that, you know, when we finish this, so that you can add extra things to it. So Liz, what have you got on your list then? You've obviously got break the cycle.
Oh my God, quite a few. Yeah, certainly. I think the first thing I wrote down was to break the cycle of impulse buying, which, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a charity shop or if it's eBay and it's only whatever pounds. It's still a, oh, click, oh, this, oh, let's just buy this, isn't it?
I agree.
Really to stop and ask myself, why am I buying this? Is it just because I'm with a friend and they're buying something, so I feel I need to buy something? I don't know. Why do I need it? And that's the crucial thing, isn't it? Does it suit my lifestyle now? Will I actually get the wear out of it? Or, as often happens, I end up redonating it back to a different charity shop. I mean, that happens a lot, you know, because I'm getting better. I do normally try things on in charity shops, but I know that there are some who still haven't opened their changing rooms because of COVID, and that's fine. But they do. The idea of taking something back to a charity shop is a bit of an anathema, really. I can't quite deal with that. But because you can't try them on, they're giving you 28 days, excuse me, to bring things back if they're not suitable, which is fair enough, I suppose. But yes, it's just things like just making those better decisions. I mean, yeah, I'm sorry, I wasn't walking past a Hobbs jacket, that's fine. But other things, you know, I'll just buy a top or another jumper, and I don't need it. I can hardly fit all my jumpers in the drawer now. So what, just because it's a nice green, or it's a nice mustard, or it's an orange, or whatever it is, And if I actually stop and think, yeah, but how many other orange jumpers have you got?
So Liz,
And it's that.
what I'm hearing is you've talked about your needs, better decisions, being conscious, but is
taking control.
Yes, is this actually about you getting to know yourself better and being?
I think it is. That's really what it sounds like, isn't it? Mm.
Lana, do you have a perspective on what you're hearing?
Yeah, I'd agree with that actually, and also that you can fill yourself up in other ways.
That's lovely. That is lovely. It's an opportunity for you to fill yourself up in other ways. It's an opportunity for you to get to know yourself better and to break.
And also to be, that's a lovely way of putting it, Lana, because it's being content with yourself, isn't it? Rather than having to not validate yourself, but you know the sort of thing I mean by having stuff. And it's getting rid of that layer, isn't it? Yeah.
So Liz, I'm going to challenge you, because your why isn't really about you making better decisions or being conscious about needs. I'm going to challenge you to try and bring this down a little bit further.
Okay.
Because I think we are getting to something. You doing a no buy year, your why, it does sound to me if it's more about you getting to grips with
the underlying emotional issues, probably.
Yes, or the association of emotional issues with the purchase of clothes. I don't know, that's just off the top of my head.
No, you're absolutely right, because I think I said to you last year, didn't I, that I've been on a counselling journey for the last 18 months. I'm still doing it. And as I say, I've had huge issues around food and overeating and binging and all sorts of things. So I'm getting seriously to grips with that. And I can see that this is overspilling, the constant buying of all of these bits. It's not quite replacing the food, but it's the same pattern.
I was just going to say that if you've been adjusting the food, are you now compensating, or have you been
overbuying?
Yes, and have you, I don't know, here's something for you to think about. Have you noticed, if you reflect back tonight after this session, are you able to see whether your habits have got worse regarding buying since you've got better at the food? I don't know. I'm just.
Oh, that's interesting. Food versus clothes shopping. Ooh.
Whoa, gosh, look at what we're
getting deep here, people.
We are. But I think it's really important, isn't it? Because, you know,
because without understanding the why, it's not going to change, is it?
It's not. And also, you're not going to stay on track, because you have to really, really want to achieve this. I really, really wanted to prove to everybody that, you know, I was living proof that, you know, have your color and style and get the items in your capsule wardrobe, and then you learn. And I wanted to show my clients that actually, you know, you stay with me and have these sessions with me, and we'll learn how you can put this with this and this with this. And oh, I got an outfit for a wedding. Oh, actually, I'm going to go to a networking meeting. I'll just take that from that and I'll just style it like this, and boom, off I go. So
that's another thing I impulse buy. Hats. I could open a shop, and we're talking massive, like wedding hats. I bought one in Debenhams years ago, simply because it was half price, and it's like a Kate Middleton. Honestly, I could knock the royal family out with it, and it's in the box. It's still even got the label on it, because I couldn't resist buying it.
Right, so there is something there.
There's definitely something there, emotionally,
about compulsion to buy because it's reduced. And actually, that's a common one. I do hear this a lot on Style Class. People feel a compulsion to buy it, and I've fallen in this trap as well. You look at it and you think, oh, I can't leave that. Oh my God, that's calling me, you know. And you do have to work out whether it's your pleasure. You know, it could be that hats are your hobby, for instance, and if you know that, that's fine. But if they're not, then it's some kind of compulsion. So I do think there's a little bit more work on your own around your
absolutely
why.
Yeah.
And I'd really love at some point for us to maybe come back together when we've all clarified all of these things, to have some feedback. But I hope that's helped you take it further from, I'm doing a no buy year because I want to break a cycle. And I wonder if maybe you weren't able to keep it up last year because your why wasn't compelling enough. It wasn't strong enough.
Or I hadn't thought about it deeply enough. Yeah.
Yeah, and you weren't committed to it enough. because actually it's hard. Okay, let's come to you. Before we move on, any reflections about that to help, Liz? Anything you've thought of?
No, I mean, I think that is a massive area, which, well done you already for actually taking it on board, because I think those kind of emotional triggers can be really, really difficult to let go of, because they are also a place of safety. Otherwise you wouldn't have the emotional trigger. So yeah, it's it's really good.
Thank you.
Okay, so Lana, what about you?
So I think for me, I liked your comment about making this year actually a no buy in order to plan, because I think I need to fall in love with clothes shopping, and see it as a joy, and as a reward for my hard work, or rather than, because you know what I'm like, I'll probably go and buy a license for a techie plugin than I will a blouse, but that doesn't actually help me when I'm networking and trying to show people that I am competent, confident and capable, whatever C's we want to use. But yeah, so I think I like the idea of actually knowing that I'm choosing not to buy, because I want to plan a really great wardrobe that I will then go off to buy in 2023. So it gives me permission to have both a really great wardrobe, but also use that time to think, okay, what is it exactly that I can shift my mindset around in order to kind of really enjoy the experience of shopping. And strangely, you talking around, food and things, when I was a child, and this has just come up this evening, whenever I had something new that my mum bought me from Tammy Girl, it was my mum and dad had always had a row, and it was the day of my dad's works children's Christmas party. So I kind of got this mixed message, and I can see it now. On the one hand, I'd feel deep guilt for receiving anything new. My mum always chose it for me because she was already in a temper, and she was so angry after the row that she kind of frog marched me off to town. We'd go into Tammy Girl, she'd be highly impatient with me about choosing something, so she'd end up choosing it for me. I wouldn't be comfortable in it. I'd feel guilty that the family finances had been raided in order to make sure I looked good at this party that I didn't want to go to, because I was more worried about whether my parents were going to be together by the time I got home. So that's just actually been really, really helpful tonight, just uncovering that. And I think that's my root of why I don't like shopping.
Gosh,
that's going to have had huge impact for you emotionally.
I would have, I actually feel quite emotional about it. I would have never associated that before.
Dana, thank you for sharing that.
That's very brave.
I just want to take a
I know, just
breath. So actually that then ripples, doesn't it? That then ripples to this self-worth. And I wrote down here earlier, because I asked you, didn't I, whether it was an excuse, but actually maybe the feelings around you not liking shopping, they actually stem back to what you're describing, because it's no wonder you don't like shopping if you never had a positive shopping experience. So no wonder you don't have pride in the of having this wardrobe and looking forward to it, because it's always met with, you said yourself, you're just looking for stuff and you don't know what to have, and and that's why actually when you had your color done and at least you knew the color, you had joy for the first time, because it was positive, it was structured, it had I suppose it had purpose in a positive way, didn't it?
Yeah, and I also actually had permission to feel good, in it, and it not be, that's actually massive. That is massive. Really, really massive for me.
So are you saying then that 2022 is going to be a no buy year because you are planning and you want to not waste any money?
Yeah.
You want to do the hard work of identifying your style.
Yeah, well, I want to come and see you. I want to have that done. I want to understand it. And then I want to be able to kind of plan that as a really nice, enjoyable, fun experience that I'm not having to rush at or feel a sense of kind of disappointment or unhappiness around any purchases.
You want it to be really positive, not
Yeah.
negative. And I'm so pleased that you didn't use the word reward, because before you used the word reward, and I'm really pleased just in what you've just said then you didn't, because I don't think you do need to reward yourself. This is normal. You need, and I talk about this on A Star Crush, you have to have clothes. We cannot go out naked. This is why it should be on your budget.
That would frighten the natives if I did that, that's for sure.
It would. You know, we have to have it, just like we need food and electricity and everything. We have to have clothes. So we do have to have it. So it's not a reward, it's a necessity. But I think there's a huge bit there about it being positive, enjoyable, fun. Those are your words, enjoyable, fun, not rushed. I want to add the word positive in there, Lana. And I just wonder now, because obviously we've just opened a huge can of worms for you. A bit like we did with you, Liz, a little bit, I suppose.
We're all getting very deep here, aren't we?
We are getting very deep, but
but it's getting to the root of the issue, isn't it? Because without acknowledging that, nothing's going to change. That's how I feel anyway.
But also, I think what that's helped me with massively is it's another key as to why there are times where my self-worth is so low. And recognizing that actually it's not because of clothes, it's just what happened around events where clothes were the kind of main player, if you like. And that's actually been tonight's just in detaching that in itself is just a biggie for me, because it makes me feel like I don't, you know, I'm all, even with Mike, I mean, Mike will tell you if I do have to go and buy something, I'm just arrow-like, even pre-colour and knowing my colours, but it was just like, I need knickers, I'll go buy them. I need a t-shirt, I'll go find it. But I don't go and think, oh, this is so enjoyable. I could go and browse. I could go and, you know, let's go for a coffee. Let's just, you know, chill. Let's go back to that shop and have a look. All of a sudden, it's like, get in, get it done, get out and get away
listening
from
to
it.
what you said also, Lana, is that you didn't have any choice. That you would say that your mother would get frustrated and then and pull something so that you didn't like, you wouldn't have chosen. So I guess that's probably in the back of your psyche somewhere. Well, isn't it? I can absolutely describe the outfit that she pulled for me that particular day, which was a dark grey pinstriped pencil skirt with a silver grey blouse that had a sort of silver stripe, very thin thread stripe through. And this,
I think I had one like that from Tammy Girl. Did it tie up at the neck?
Yes. And then a deep purple, like a chenille type, well, a bit like a gilet, I suppose, but very straight. And it was just awful. It just was just awful. But it was brand new, and so I looked like I was fed, watered, and looked after in that sense, you know.
And am I right in thinking that I've heard you say before that Mike has bought things for you before, or you allow him? You say, "Oh, he's quite good." Or may I be so bold as to say, I wonder if that's part of that, because you're used to that it's easier to just, like, it was easier for you to go along with your mum doing that for you. You didn't dare question it. Is that following on? So part of your work is I've done a Frozen, I've written down Let It Go. It's part of your planning, part of this year for you. Your reason of doing a no buy year is to let go of all that baggage associated with clothes shopping, owning clothes, wearing clothes, knowing what suits you, all of that.
The weirdest thing now, this has just been so helpful, honestly. I can't tell you both how helpful. But even now, my mum will phone and she'll say, "Oh, I just happened to be in such and such, and I bought you something."
Yes, you told me that before.
And it's like, okay, and then I kind of feel, I mean, I've got better since I came to you and had my colours done. And I have a couple of occasions said, "That's really nice thought, Mum, but it's not quite my colour, and I am sticking to my palette." But that's been a big thing to me to say that to my mum, because normally I would just go, "Oh," because otherwise it's classed as ungrateful.
Yeah, I get that.
You know, so yes, this has actually been huge for me this evening. Thank
So
you.
when we come on to the boundaries, setting the rules, the structure, this is going to be great for you, because you're going to be saying, I'm doing a no buy year, and one of the rules will be that actually you can't have gifts. You can't have it. What's the point? You can't just have a whole package of 10 items of clothing for your birthday or Christmas. So we're going to set this as one of your rules in a minute.
Yeah, that's just really good, actually.
And something that you haven't chosen, or you haven't had any input in.
Yes, that's important. Yeah. So Liz, anything you've heard from Lana there that you want to?
Well, yes, I mean, given the experiences, I'm not in any way surprised your views on shopping, but I think working with Laura and having your style, you're obviously very strong with your colours now, but yes, having your style done, and even if you're just going out and buying a top, a jumper, whatever, I think that will help you to have a much more positive, because you have your wallet and you'll think, right, I want either this or this color. Give yourself, several. So you still got a structure, but I think I'm really quite convinced that will be a much more positive outlook for you. And I'm just wondering, forgive me, but I'm wondering whether you should delay the start of your no buy year, given the fact that you said your wardrobe is in such a deficit, whether you should actually plan with Laura and then do some some structured spending of key pieces, and then maybe start your no buy year in a few months, just so that you're not then thinking come this winter you're not there shivering in your 2 years old t-shirt because you haven't got any jumpers. That's just a thought.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that will come into our preparation about what do you need to do to embark upon this, because actually, yes, Lana, that's a really fair point, Liz, thank you, because you can't embark upon another year of having nothing if you really haven't got anything. You can't just go out in your knickers, Lana.
Well, I haven't even got those now, because now I've lost a bit of weight. They're falling off me.
Oh dear, right.
Oh gosh, gummage with a bit of string around your middle.
Yes. Right, well, I think it's fair to say that was a very powerful exercise, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Extremely.
Yeah, really. Okay, so we've done our why. Now we're going to go on and look at the benefits. What will be the benefits of you doing this challenge? So let's just have a little think about this, because obviously the benefits, I've alluded to some of them about maybe I've alluded to the basic stuff, time and money, but goodness me, if we think about your why now, I mean, surely Lana, you're going to have the benefit will be being liberated. The benefit will be personal development. It's all about
clearing ancestral pattern. That gives me an opportunity to clear it once and for all.
Yeah. So just spend a few minutes, get that jotted down now, just on your rough paper. Let's just have a little brainstorm of your benefits of doing the challenge based upon your why.
I would have been one of the ones that definitely chooses a pencil, Laura.
Yes.
I always write in pencil. It's one of those things.
All right, Lana, do you need a few more minutes, or are you there?
No, I'm there. Thank you.
Okay, righty-ho. So Liz, based upon your why and everything that we've been hearing, what would be the benefit for you for doing this challenge?
The first thing I wrote down was re-establishing control or retaking control. Obviously, stop wasting money. but I think that's kind of a secondary thing, really. Focusing on what I have will actually help me to clarify what I'm actually wearing and what is suiting my personality and my lifestyle, rather than just constantly adding stuff to it. And obviously the last one I've written down is to tackle the emotions behind the habits and break the cycle.
Yeah, huge benefits. And when I was preparing this workshop, I had no idea that one of my participants would have a benefit of re-establishing control. Yeah, I get the stop wasting the money, and I get focusing on what you have. And obviously I was thinking that other things might crop up about you learning how to put together the things in your wardrobe to create impact and outfits. I thought those sorts of things would be the benefits, but the re-establishing control, those ones have come up tonight, and yet really they are greater, aren't they? Because you sort out your personal development. The stuff is the outside bit, the shiny bit, but this is core stuff. This is inside. But then I think that this is what this whole color and style thing is about. This is why I'm so passionate about never having a service of coming in, having your colors done, right, off you go with the wallet, because that was never my experience. It was so much deeper and more personal, and I just felt that that's what it must be like for so many other people. And I'm right, you know, the people that I work with, I think probably I can name on one hand the number of people who I've had over the years, because I'm coming up to my 6th year now, that I've perhaps been in and they've never engaged again. I can honestly probably say they are less than one hand. Everybody has had.
What are we, 5 years now?
Yeah, they've had that deeper connection, and there's been far more to it. Of they haven't just come to find out their colours. The people that say, "Oh, I just want to know my colours," I'm telling you now, they are on that hand. Every majority of people, it's because there's a lack of confidence. There is a reason. There is an underlying fundamental emotional issue that they don't always know what it is, but we almost unpeel it. We almost like take off the layers of the onion and get to it, which I take as a real well, I'm humbled, I think, that people allow me to be on that journey with them. So yeah, interesting. Liz, fantastic. Lana, what about you?
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely the ancestral pattern stuff, clear all that. Empowerment, that there's no more needing to have the I'm grateful jumpers, or the I'm grateful clothing.
Yes, you don't need to be. Yes,
really good way to put it.
I love that. No, you don't need to be grateful, do you?
Yeah. And I don't mean that I'm not grateful as a human being, but I don't need to be put in a position where I feel I have to be grateful because it's a jumper.
Do you know, you have reminded me, and I don't know, I might have shared this with you. I might have shared this with you, Liz, in, I don't know, one of the Sparkle and Shines or one of my talks, but equally I might not have done. But Richard's mother, okay, for Christmas, we would have a stocking, and in it would be a pair of marigold gloves. There would always be a calendar. There would always be a little box of chocolates, and there was always a pair of gloves. Okay, now it started off when I first met him. I used to have nice little silk gloves. Okay, and then one year, sorry, about 3 or 4 years ago, we've probably never seen her since for Christmas, because I was so disgusted. What you said there about being grateful, this is how I felt. I used to get, I almost cried before I started opening these things up, because I knew the emotional response. It was making me hate Christmas. And the pair of gloves I opened that year were a pair of woolen with literally, like, I can't just, I've still got them to show actually at Starcraft. I can't describe them, but they're woolen. But they're woolen with like stripes and yuck, and then you fold the mitten bit over. And I think to myself, you don't know me, or if you do know me, you're insulting me on purpose. Would I, as a classic or an image consultant, wear a pair of gloves like that? Yes, a lovely pair of leather gloves, maybe, but
in the correct colour.
Yeah, but not that. And I just, you saying, because I used to think, oh gosh, I'm going to sound ungrateful if I don't smile and go, how lovely. But it is, why should I be grateful for that? I'm 50 years old. I don't need that. If they don't know me.
If they've put so little thought into that.
Exactly. I don't want anything at all.
Yeah.
But of course, then the year afterwards was when we said we don't want any presents because we wanted to avoid it. Richard used to have things wrapped up in newspaper from the garage, like old tools and things. Honestly, I think they thought they were being funny, but there's nothing funny about it when it happens year after year. But you saying that there, that you don't need to feel grateful, you validated me there, Lana, because
That's a really good expression.
we don't need to feel grateful, do we? Because it's actually a bit of an insult.
Yeah. And I think because it's cloaked in, you know, oh, but I'm doing it because, you know, you're my daughter and I love you, but it kind of comes with a sting in it. And I just, I'm not going to do the grateful bit anymore. Sorry, I'm just going to be really, no, I'm not doing that.
Go Lana.
Brilliant.
So I just went on to write them my style and my choices. It's my chance to explore the positive aspect of shopping, how I feel, my confidence, how I can put myself together in a way that actually is without drama, but helps me feel and look really stylish and confident.
Yes, you're doing it for you.
Yeah.
For you. And it's going to make you feel good. You're not pleasing anybody other than yourself. Oh, these benefits. Wow.
So,
gosh, that's fantastic. Well done, ladies. Well done. And obviously feel free to add to the list if anything crops up after the call. I dare say some of you might be cursing me in the morning because you couldn't get to sleep easily, or you woke up with the light and you added something to your list. So have your notepad by the side.
But you've reminded me of a friend that she's actually the mother of one of my elder son's best friend, and we sort of reconnected recently over the years. And she's another one who likes charity shopping. So it's great. You have a good old mutual. But she is so derisive and derogatory about colours. Because she'll pick, oh, this will suit you. I'll go, no, it's the wrong colour. And she'll start being quite, in her mind, in a funny way. But she'll be like, oh, that's all a load of rubbish. I smile and go, no. But it's almost like, why should I have to defend my choices? Do you know? And she takes, I mean, at one point we were somewhere and I wasn't sure of the colour. And I did actually get my wallet out because it's in my handbag. Oh my God, she went off on one. So I went, right. So then every time I looked at something, I went to rub it in. But I just thought, again, but then that was an interesting thing. When we had that lunch in Newbury, Lara, what was it? One of the ladies who was opposite me, I forget who it was now. I can't remember, it doesn't matter. But she actually said that she doesn't tell people she's had her colours done anymore because of the response it gets. So if someone says to her, oh gosh, that looks lovely, she'll just go, oh yeah, thank you. But because I think she's had, again, negative reactions to saying that. And I just think.
Yeah. I get that. Even when I had the builders here, so the main builder, Chris Bundy, when he because obviously I would sometimes say, I'm on a call or something, can you stop the banging and what have you, and just before, I think he was buttering me up to obviously pay the final bill, but he was sort of talking about what it is that I did, and he was like poo-pooing, you mean people really pay for that? I've had that a lot. And I thought, yeah, this is my livelihood actually, and you're dissing it. I don't go around and say, oh, do people really want you to build that wall? In that brick. But it's about us taking ownership and being proud. And I think that's another reason why having a community of people and Liz, I don't know whether I did this on, I can't remember whether you came for Style on your own or whether you were with a group. Sorry, I have to forgive you.
There were a couple of us, I think, if I remember correctly.
Well, I might have recommended that you only go shopping with somebody who's had, I recommended that people, if they come, like I was doing groups of 4 back in the day, I'd say go shopping with your person. So for instance, Lydia had her style done at the same time as Sue Holdsworth. So actually they did meet up a couple of times and go shopping together because they had both heard the messages, because it's exactly what you're talking about. You have friends that say, oh, this would look good on you, and full well, and then you feel you have to justify. So in a minute when we come on
going shopping with Michelle is a much more positive experience.
Exactly. So in a minute when we come to rules and we come to looking at your sabotages, what might hinder you, Liz, I'm going to say to you, don't ever go clothes shopping with that friend again. Make going to the garden centre something you do with her, or going for a walk. Find something else that you do with that particular friend, because it's just not positive, and you need to keep yourself positive and buoyant and surround yourself with like-minded people. And if I need to make a bit more of an effort and get the community going in Sparkle and Shine, then get on at me and I will. I mean, obviously as we come out of lockdown a bit more, maybe hopefully we can get back to having more of our open days. I appreciate my room is a bit smaller now than it was at the other house, but we were we used to have a fine old time, didn't we? And I used to say, save it for come, and it was so uplifting, Lana, because we were all there admiring, and we were all there going, oh my God, I could put that colour combination together. Oh my God, that looks amazing on you. Oh my God. And it was so
lifting each other up.
None of this striking down. So in a minute, when we come to do your action plan, I really want you to commit, if you don't mind me saying, gosh, I didn't think I'd sound that dogmatic, but I think I've
written it down. Don't go clothes shopping with her.
Why? Don't ever go out clothes shopping with her again. And if she asks you why not, say, because actually I don't find it a very positive experience with you, because this is really important to me in my life. And
you're making derisory remarks about it.
Yeah, and you don't need that. You don't need that in your life.
I don't need I'm grateful friend shopping, do I? There we are. I've stolen that, but I'm going to use that.
Yeah, very, very powerful. Right. Anything else that either of you would like to say on that bit before we move on?
Good.
I think you're doing cracking, girls. You're cracking. Okay, so huge benefits. Huge. Forget time and money. God, dear, we got life-changing.
Yeah, that's a secondary issue.
Okay, so obviously my biggies for this session, and I think the main ones are your why. It is about then looking at the rules, and then we're obviously going to look at the mindset and what you need to do to keep you on track. So this is about your rules. Now obviously my rules were that I wasn't going to buy anything new except underwear. So if I needed any underwear, I wasn't going to compromise on that. That was going to be new. Okay, I was obviously going to try not to. And in fact, I didn't buy any underwear, but I was looking after Mum. Do you remember when I was down looking after Mum, Liz? And actually she bought some pants, and I think she bought me a pair of Marks and Spencer's pack of 5 new pants, because mine were literally falling, not falling off me because of weight, Lana. They were falling off because there were holes and the elastic was gone. So I did accept those from her. But my other rule was that if an event came up or something came up and I really needed something, I was going to buy pre-loved. And of course, that was a biggie for me. I hadn't, up until a few years ago, I'd never even set foot inside a charity shop. There was that perception, I think even 5 years ago, there was a perception, certainly 10 years ago, there was a perception of charity shops that, well, they were for the needy, weren't they? There wasn't the sort of acceptance of and the fun element of going in charity shops like there is now. I get your fun, Liz. I love it.
Winchester has some pretty posh charity, let me tell you.
Exactly. So my rules were that it would be pre-loved if I did need to buy anything, and the only exception that I had was that obviously because I promoted Kettlewell when I did the colour analysis, I would buy myself, instead of maybe having 2 or 3, that was before they changed me down to just 5 items for my consultants wear. I would just have 1 item, and obviously I bought that it was a navy spotted dress, and then of course we went into lockdown, and then I didn't have anything new. I did accept a dress from them during my no buy year as a reward for something to do on Instagram, most posts or something or other, and I was gifted a dress which I then wore for when I did see clients. So I was really clear about what my rules were. So what will your rules be? Oh, and the other rule was I didn't want people to buy me, I couldn't possibly then accept presents. I said to Richard, you can't buy me a new top or a new jacket. It doesn't matter if I've seen something and I think it's fantastic. You can't buy it for me as a gift. That has to be a rule. I'm not accepting gifts of clothes from anybody, because that almost makes a mockery of it. But those were my rules. You don't have to have those rules. We need to think about the rules that are right for you. So what are your rules based upon how this is going? You've got your why, you're looking at your benefits. So what are your rules? I mean, Lana, almost certainly your rules have to be that you've got to make it very, very clear to your family that you are not accepting any gifts of clothes.
Yeah.
Or go so far as to put, my rule is I'm not going to accept any items of clothing from my mum. Yeah. So just spend a moment to write down your rules. What will your rules be? And obviously for some people, they might not be able to commit to a whole year. And, you know, their rules might be that you're only going to do this challenge for 6 months. Or it could be that, I don't know, if I had a solicitor, I'm just using an example, if I had a solicitor on this course, for instance, and I don't know, they needed, could be that they needed a new suit after 6 months, for instance. They were allowed one work suit or something.
Yeah.
Or if they already knew that their shoes were going to need to be reheeled, or they knew that they were going to need a new pair of boots in the winter because the other ones were literally on their you know, falling apart. So think about, what will your rules be for your challenge? Okay. So Liz, what are your rules going to be?
They're interesting ones. I mean, I'm thinking about my wardrobe. I think I could probably go to several garden parties and not wear the same thing twice. So, I mean, my 60th birthday is later on this year, and I am having a party. But I mean, given the fact that you sent me those 2 evening dresses I bought, even though they're too big for me now, the bronze sequin one, I look like I've got a dowager's hump, because I've been determined to get to grips with food. So, and there is a dressmaker in town, and I wouldn't attempt. I mean, if it was a simple dress, I would alter it myself, but because it's full sequins, and besides which you can't pin yourself, can you? So because that was such a bargain, I'm going to get that altered. But I've got evening dresses, I've got formal wear, I've got jeans, and I've got more underwear than I can fit in the drawer, as I discovered as I was sorting out all the clean washing today. So I don't know. I mean, yes, if there was a desperate need, say all my bras fell apart or what have you, then I would allow that. Again, I've put the no-go. But I'm just thinking, even if I am choosing to buy something pre-loved, if there is a need, I'm going to insist on giving myself a cooling off period, because I think it's that, so even if you're in a charity, if I'm in a charity shop, I maybe have to say, even like set 5-minute timer on my watch and walk out of the shop or something. Do you know what I mean? Or the same on eBay, if I suddenly find a need for, as you say, like a pair of boots or something, I've got to give myself some kind of cooling off period, so it isn't a quick impulse thing.
Okay. Or Liz, you have talked about all your big wardrobes. What, I mean, how would it feel to actually take that step further and you not have that caveat then there, actually have that you are not going?
Yeah, I think that would be, because I mean, I think
otherwise you're going to be tempted, aren't you? You're going to give yourself permission to go into a charity shop, because I'm thinking in a minute, one of your things about what's your mindset and how you're going to achieve this, yours has got to be that you don't go into a charity shop unless it's for a household item.
Okay, okay, I like that. Right, crossing that one off.
Yeah, you know, you're not allowed to go into a charity shop to look at the clothes. You have to buy clothes at all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think, because otherwise you're.
And I only buy clothes on eBay, so I'm not even going there.
So it's that you don't even open the eBay app or page for a year.
I've closed down the tab, because I have like several tabs open at the top of my laptop. I've got my email, I've got, I think it's Facebook, because several of the singing groups I belong to were on Facebook, and that's a means of communication, isn't it? And obviously Sparkle and Shine and stuff. And I've got all these tabs open, and eBay was one of them. That's gone.
Okay, so can we refine this even more then?
Yeah.
Because at the moment, your rules are, I mean, you've also said
Too woolly.
you've got enough underwear. So actually you don't need any underwear, do you? Unless you drastically change size, which I can't see that happening. So
not that much, no.
No. So do you have to actually, is this part of you fully committing that you are really not going to buy anything new? You are going to only shop your wardrobe. You're going to shop from your wardrobe.
Well, in that case, it might be the last rule might be the only one that stays of this lot then. Do something positive with the money saved. Charity ? I don't know.
Okay.
So that might be it.
So maybe you've just got two rules then. You're going to shop from your wardrobe. You are not going to buy anything new for a whole year. And you're going to, the third rule could be that you, well, I was going to say something about recording the money, but you'd have to know what it was you spent this year, or I don't know, do you have a budget for, maybe that's where you say the money that you're allocating for clothes you're going to utilize or direct off to support a charity of your choice, or learning opportunities.
Yes, okay.
I also wonder as well, and we can talk about this a bit more when we come to the action plan and how to get you ready for this, but I'm also wondering if maybe you sort your wardrobe out, so the pants and bras that are actually incredibly brand new, you put them away. I'm just wondering whether you shop your wardrobe for 6 months, but you have another wardrobe which has got
like we used to do with the children's toys. Bring some out in a few months' time.
Yes, so you've got a bit of refresh because you've got so much. I'm just wondering whether that would make you feel like, oh, I've forgotten about that. You know, you actually pack some stuff away, and then you sort of treat yourself that every quarter you're going to bring out a box and enjoy wearing it and enjoy rediscovering it. And I don't know, that just went through my mind.
I also think I need to do another, because of the, just buy it and shove it in the wardrobe. I think I need to do another big trying on session and start filling up some bags.
Okie dokie. I have got plans. Keep a lookout over the next few weeks. I am going to do another workshop on, on the style booklet, when you look at your lifestyle and we fill in the grid. I'm thought that really annually I ought to do a workshop like this one where we're doing that together. So that might help you and do so, yes, but or if you feel you can do it by yourself.
Thinking, I think it's over on that bookshelf. I'm just looking at where it is. I think it's over there.
Okay. Right.
So wardrobe refresh by putting clothes away.
So let's refine your rules even more then. You are not going to buy anything new from a clothes shop, or you're not going to buy any new item of clothing. Are you going to extend that to a hat and accessories and footwear?
I think I probably could. I mean, you know how many shoes I got rid of? If I laid them all out again, because this gorgeous pair of coral ruby shoe ones arrived today from eBay. They're beautiful.
Right, you've got to write this down properly.
Yeah, I have.
Right?
No.
And then I'm going to hold you to account. You've got to send me a picture of it once you've actually written this out in Best.
Yeah.
Because I know you're in pencil.
No clothing.
And the moment you commit this to pen, Liz, there is no going back.
Yeah.
Once
the fountain pen comes out, that's it.
Yeah. Okay. So we're drilling that down then. You are going to commit to not buying any item of, and I want to see it, item of clothing, hat, necklace or shoe. So it's really clear. And then maybe the next one is then that the money that you have allocated for your shopping budget will go towards a learning and development fund. Or whatever you want to call it.
Yes, because I might decide to do level 3 if I enjoy level 2.
Exactly. And then in a minute, when we come to how you're going to implement that, or what's going to keep you buoyant, that's where I think that strategy about perhaps you packing up some things and then having a little surprise, having a little diary note, April the 15th. Oh, I'm going to open up a box and see what's inside, and
I think I've got some, the big plastic boxes that we would have used for stock. I think when I moved all the stuff when I left school and I moved out of my classroom, I think I've got some empty ones in the garage. If not, I'll be off to B&M and buy some.
All right. So that will help you. That'll be part of how you're going to do it. Right, Lana, what about you? What rules have you come up with?
Okay, so no one can buy me any clothes or accessories or shoes or slippers or gloves or scarves or anything this year.
Oh gosh, is that as me as well?
Yeah, sorry, Laura. No, we're going to go from baseline scratch. So that one of my rules is to get into the habit of browsing clothes in order to create it as a pleasurable experience rather than a painful experience. But I'm not going to buy, so I'm just going to have a look and just expose myself, if you like, to looking without the drama, so that I can kind of start. Exactly.
Okay, so that's a brilliant one. So how about before style? It's browsing to see things that you are attracted to.
Yeah.
And then after style, it's browsing to find things that match your color and style. And something that you'll hear on style classes, you are not allowed to buy it unless it's an 8 out of 10 or more. So in your criteria will be, it has to be an 8 out of 10 or more. And then when in a minute, when we come to how you're going to implement this, obviously you're going to find a tech way to be recording your progress.
Well, I've already thought of that way, because you know what I'm like. So I thought what I could do is if I were to take photographs as I'm purchasing when I'm in a purchase year, so that I can almost do a techie mix and match on my screen to see what, if that top that I've got in the cupboard goes with those trousers and those jeans or whatever, so that I can almost pre-create a look that I can go straight to the wardrobe and get.
Brilliant.
Rather than sit there thinking, oh God, what do I put this with?
Brilliant. And when you've organized that tech, I will buy that off you to supplement my style class, because that's exactly what I asked Richard to create for me about 4 years ago, Liz, and I'm still waiting. Still waiting for the app from Richard.
I think there'll be quite a few of us who'd buy that.
Yeah. So fantastic. So brilliant. So just run that past me again. So you've got the rules that no one's buying you anything for a gift, and I like the way you've got slippers in there as well.
Yeah.
And then you've got that you're going to, the browse. I want you to commit to a time. Are you going to do this once a week, once a month? I want to, because otherwise it's going to get forgotten.
Yeah, no, I think I need to set time once a week, and just, almost like say, right, today I'm going to have a look at Jules, next week I'm going to have a look at Phase 8, the week after I'm going to have a look at, and just if I do it by actually East, which used to be my most favourite shop in the whole world when I was living in Cambridge. Well, of course, there isn't an East up here. I don't even know if East still exists, actually.
Online, actually, yes. I
right. So, and also, I've still got all of those lovely links that you sent me with, I imagine that some of those will be out of date now, as in no stock, or it's past its season as such. But just allowing myself time to kind of make it a nice, get a coffee, get some I've just discovered vegan dark chocolate tiffins, so that's got to be a good thing, isn't it? And open up the web browser and just have a look.
So I'm going to insist I drill you down further. Is this 15 minutes a week on a Saturday, or 15 minutes a week over a weekend? When's it going to take place and for how long?
So
it's too woolly.
Yeah, no, I think for me, it's actually easy if I do it first thing when I get up. So on a Friday morning at 7:30, I will spend 1 hour of my week actually browsing.
An hour? Do you not think that's too much?
No, because by the time I've kind of clicked through to have a look at what the t-shirts look like, what the jumpers look like, because I tend to go through in the section so I don't just kind of look at something and think, oh, I wonder what that is. I'll just, where I have occasionally searched, it's been show me jumpers, right now, show me t-shirts, now show me blouses, do I like the skirts, do I not like the skirts? So yeah, so
and if when you get off, if you think there's too much, you can always put 30 to 60 minutes.
Yeah, so I was thinking that allow yourself up to an hour, say 30 minutes to 60 minutes.
No, actually that's good if I say up to an hour rather than that's a good idea.
Otherwise you're going to be sitting there going,
yes, or if you do 30 to 60 minutes, because then you are definitely doing 30 minutes, because if you put up to, you could stop after 10.
Right, yes, I've got you.
Vague,
All
isn't
right,
it?
so
Yeah.
30 to 60. All right. And I want you also, where are you going to record what you found?
So I'm going to copy and paste it into Canva. So I'm going to do a clothes scrapbook.
Love it. Love
So
it.
that I can then start saying, okay, I like that. So I'm going to take a snip of that. I'm going to take that image and I'm going to chuck it on the snap. But I have no idea what this is going to look like. And in many respects, it doesn't matter.
No,
It's
it
just
doesn't.
the pure fact of just starting to look
It
at
does.
things that I know I like.
And can you see as well, now you've got 2 more benefits to add. You've got me time, haven't you, as a benefit that you're dedicating a certain minimum of 30 minutes a week. And you're also going to be creating a Lana style scrapbook. And a third one, you're going to be creating a piece of tech that your client can use.
I'm just wondering, I would benefit from actually, once I've decided everything that I'm keeping, would I benefit from creating this so that I'm not buying another orange jumper when I've forgotten that I've got 2?
Yeah, well, this is what I want. So when, you know, the sheet in the style class about where you have your down the side with like a pair of trousers, then you match it with that one. I would like that to be visual. Lana, when we do style, you'll get to see what I mean. Yes. In fact, we've got a written version coming up in a minute, but yes, definitely. I think there's huge scope for that. Huge scope. And it's
what was the program you said, Lana? Canva?
Yeah, so for me, I use a lot of Canva because I can get, you know, like if I'm doing website mood boards and things, it means I can put like hex code. So it's really boring.
She's a whiz.
Hex code colors, so that I know what the correct color is for that person's website and their fonts. So and often that starts off as a picture.
I'm wondering whether that would be worth investigating for me as well.
There's a free version. I'm on the Canva Pro, and all of this that you'll see and all of my podcast stuff and all the where you've looked at things and thought, oh, Lara's up to game on her tech, it's Canva.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Canva that's doing it. So yeah, you can have a free version, and there's loads on there, Liz. Just have a look.
I mean, because there's no way. I mean, at the moment, well, that's why again, you're quite right. I need to sort it into quarters, as it were, because I've got so much. I haven't got a clue. Anyway, there we are.
Okay, well done, ladies. You're doing really, really well. So now we've got our why, we've established our benefits, we've looked at our rules, and now we're going to look at what mindset shifts do you need to make. And Liz, this is a bit like changing the way that you shop, because actually you're going to eliminate going to charity shops because you know that it's your stumbling block.
Yeah.
So this is about what do you need to do in order for this challenge to be successful. So just going back to my other set of notes now that I wrote down here when I did the podcast. I obviously talked about your mindset about being proud of the challenge. Because what you don't want to be, oh, I'm on a no buy year, I can't buy that. Oh, I'm on a no buy year, I can't go shopping with you today, or I can't go into that charity shop. That doesn't help anybody. It's got to be, I am so excited and I want to share with all of you, I am committing to doing a no buy year, but that does mean that I need to change the way that I do things. So my default pattern of going out on a Saturday afternoon and into the charity shops for a mooch, actually that's going to sabotage me and it's going to make it really quite difficult. It's a bit like an alcoholic going to a party and everyone's drinking around them and they're only just maybe 2 days sober. You know, the temptation is just too great, or it's
too
not
much,
kind.
isn't it? Yeah.
It's not being kind to them. So this is about what mindset shifts do you need to make. So, Liz, we talked a lot about you changing your thinking, isn't it? It's about you making conscious decisions. So just spend a couple of minutes and jot down any mindset shifts that you know now that you need to make. But I do believe you will be adding to this list. mean, I remember thinking, you know, because obviously my mindset was what House of Colour was saying. Oh, I've got to look current. I've got to look on top of everything. I've got to look better than my clients. I've got to do, and that was a huge mindset shift. But and actually, that's where that sort of hashtag real women came in for me, because it made me feel even more me. I didn't want to be this dressed up doll, you know, like the paper dolls you used to have where you put the clothes on. I didn't want
With
to
the
be
little tabs.
Yes, I want to be hashtag real women. You know, this is real because I genuinely believed I wanted to make a difference to women just like me who were going through the stuff that I was going through. So what mindset shifts do you need to make? So Lana, what's on your list?
So my list is, so I've got 6. So shopping or clothing enables me to feel put together. Shopping and looking at clothing can be pleasurable. It can be an extension of me time. It enables me to detach pain from shopping and clothing. And also it allows me to become an explorer and adventurous with clothing, and clothing can be my ability to do some playing and play.
Wow. So yours are all about perception, isn't it? Yours is there. Yours is nothing about doing a challenge and proving something. Yours is all inner work and perceptions. Fantastic, Lana. Brilliant, brilliant. Well done. Liz, what about you?
Mine's a lot more practical, actually, for obvious reasons. So the first one I put is avoid going to places of temptation, i.e. charity shops. Organise what I've already got, buy storage boxes. So declutter again, so to get rid of the mistakes that are just hanging in the wardrobe, taking up space.
Right, I'm just going to stop you just for a minute, because let's just go back to this wording. So just go back to the first one again for me, Liz. You had
avoid going to places that are a temptation.
Okay, so the mindset shift is for you to change the mindset is the
flip it.
Yes, it's flipping it, isn't it? It's about that
you're not feeling restricted or held back, but you're allowing yourself to flourish.
Yeah, so rather than
rather than making it a negative statement, make it okay, so that I'm choosing not to go.
So I'm choosing to do different activities instead of going to the charity shop.
Yes. So if you normally went on a Saturday afternoon to a charity shop or a Tuesday morning, or say you always went into Winchester and the first thing you did was park the car and then go to the charity shops, it's about changing the mindset. So next time I go to Winchester, I'm going to go to the cathedral first, or I'm going to go to the so-and-so for a coffee first, or I'm going to yes, that's why I just wanted to pause and come in. Thank you, Lana. It's about shifting the behavior, isn't it? Shifting the thinking. Does that make sense?
It does, because I was immediately thinking back to the classroom. You wouldn't phrase it in a negative way to children, would you? You'd make a positive out of it. You don't say, don't do that. You'd say, remember to do such a thing, you know, and it's that kind of thing, isn't it?
Exactly. So think of a place,
make it positive,
that you would like to go to that you perhaps haven't been to, or you know you're going to go for a walk and listen to the so and so and so and so, rather than what your default is about going directly to the charity shops. And then also you can have about I'm choosing that when I go to a new town, instead of going shopping, I'm perhaps going to look for a cultural walk or
a place of interest.
Yes. So you're shifting that. You're not going to a new place for the shops because they're a temptation. You're going to go to them because you're going to look for
interesting, something interesting, or just admire the architecture or a park or whatever.
Exactly. Yes. So what was the second one you had?
Organize what I already have.
Okay, so the mindset shift is I'm going to move from a place of I don't want to say clutter and disorganization, because you are a very organized person, but I want to
no, my clothing storage is cluttered because there's just so much shoved in there.
So you're going to move from a wardrobe of clutter to a wardrobe of organization. because that's the shift, isn't it? How you do that, we can talk about how you do that, but the mindset shift is going from clutter to order. It's going from chaos to clear. You're going from confusion to clarity. Yeah. Lana, am I all right there? You're agreeing?
Yeah, no, and that sounds really good. And also because it's banking and building on your innate skills there that just have been covered over, if you like, by the negative. So it's pushing your motivation through.
Yes. So what was the next one, Liz?
Buy storage boxes, but that's that's an activity, not an aim.
Exactly. It's not a mindset shift. That's about how you're going to achieve.
This is like objectives and aspirations.
I know.
Plans again. This is crikey.
I know, but can you see that we're drilling it down? We're drilling it down,
and it's just that subtle change in wording makes all the difference, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah. All right. So
okay. So we'll ignore that one. I'm thinking because that one falls into that one, from clutter to organization. Chaos to clarity. That was declutter the mistakes. Okay, so now I want to think about building a record of what I've got. Maybe I'll have a go at Canva because it's not something I've used before. But I think if I then have if I've got a clear vision in my mind of what I've got, then I will. I think I'm not too bad at thinking, oh, that'll go nicely with that. But it's remembering what you've got, because it isn't it. I opened the wardrobe. What I wore on when I went to see my sister wasn't what I planned to wear. I opened it. Oh, I've forgotten I got that, so I wore that instead. And it still was lovely because it was an old Kettlewell skirt. It was actually the autumn, the autumn check from about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I could get into it, which was even better. But so it was just a simple thing like that I'd completely forgotten it was there. And I was looking for another one. I was actually looking for the chocolate and rust one. But and I need some clear organization. And I think that's again where this perceptioning.
That's the methodology. So maybe shifting the mindset is to be more creative with your outfits and you utilize. So you're going to not go for the standard thing where you put this with that. You're actually going to experiment and explore rather than going on habitual combinations. You're going to be explore. I think how you, and I'm also little tips there about how you're going to do that. I'm going to encourage you to go back to the wardrobe and make sure have you got trousers with trousers, skirts with skirts, jackets with jackets, dresses with dresses?
Mostly yes, but then I'll have sort of like ordinary dresses in this wardrobe and then fancy dresses in the other wardrobe.
Okay, well, I think you need to perhaps do some put them into compartments, or have, even if it's in the spare room, put all the costumes out.
Yes, I have actually got a costume rail, so all the costumes could go on there.
Yes, and then you've got all evening, because you've also so you're looking at your lifestyle. Maybe you've only got like 2 or 3 evening events coming up, and then we can put all the jackets together, and then you can start to organize by color. And then once you've done that, that's what I'm going to say to you. Just randomly, almost do it blindfolded, even cover up your eyes and just literally take off a few hangers, put them in a suitcase, and that's what you're going to get out in 2 months' time, and it'd be a surprise. Don't know. Just
I like it.
Do you like it?
Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah. It's really going to push me to use what I've got.
Exactly, because you can't go and get the Kettlewell small spot scarf because it's packed away and you're not allowed it out until
and I'm not allowed it until April.
Yes, so your mindset shift is that you're going to utilize everything in your wardrobe over the course of a year, rather than probably just about 30 to 40% of it,
if that.
Okay, so yeah, brilliant, well done. Right, okay, so how are you going to record and celebrate your success? Because you do need to do this. I didn't realize about this at the beginning when I started my challenge. I knew that I was going to take up the challenge of trying to get on Instagram, which was a big for me, and record it in that way. So that's why I decided to start the It Suits Me and I Know It Instagram page, and that was my way of recording it. But I also had the diary sheet. I haven't got one. I haven't got one to hand. Hang on, let me go and get it. I also had the diary sheets literally printed off on the computer, and then I literally on the day wrote down what it is that I'd worn that day. And by the end of the month, I could then see who, which items I'd worn the most, what I hadn't worn. And that helped me work out my cost per wear. And it also helped me see the majority of my clothes were Kettlewell or Hobbs or Boden. It was a really good exercise. And I've got a sheet further down for you that you can use or just print that off, whichever works for you. But how are you going to record and celebrate your successes? Are you going to check in every month and have a reward or look at review? And how are you going to review? Do you want us to have a little, half-hour catch up every quarter, so that we can check in each other? What is it that you need?
There's a bit of accountability there, isn't there?
There is. So what's off the top of your head there, Lana, how do you think you're going to record and celebrate your success? And we talked a little bit about you obviously going into your timing every Friday and making sure that you're going to do it. So it'll be making sure that you do that. But how are you going to celebrate your success? I guess it will be your scrapbook by the end of the year, will it?
Yeah, I think the scrapbook, but also, yes, like this saying, is perhaps, ask my accountability partner very nicely if once every couple of months I can just say, oh, can you have a look at my scrapbook, please?
Well, let's do this, something in the Sparkle and Shine, because it will also, for me, from a marketing point of view, it'll help others see what it is that we're doing. So we could say we're going to have an open conversation.
Yeah, I'm happy to share it within the group. But obviously I know your Instagram thing was your business, so that was different, but I certainly wouldn't do that, but I'd happily share it within the group.
Yes, yeah, no, I was meaning just our check-in call. We could actually just have that in Sparkle and Shine. But yes, we'll definitely do that. Do you want to jot down anything else or verbally say?
I think the only other thing is actually record any compliments, because I think I forget, and I can remember there was one, I must have accidentally got it correct, but when I was in my 30s, I found this bright turquoise V-neck jumper with an off-white t-shirt, and the trousers were a pale lemon with a very thin tartan's colour line in turquoise. And every time I wore that particular outfit, so many people go, oh my God, you look so good in it. And I didn't associate it. So obviously when I then came to you and realised that was in my palette, and actually I'd accidentally stumbled upon it. But I can remember the fact that I had so many compliments. What I didn't remember was the fact that I just keep buying the same kind of colours, and I'd have been on the right track.
I love that. Record the compliments. So think about how you're going to record them. Are you going to have a jar, which is the compliment jar, and then you're going to have a little post-it note where you put them in? Think about how you're going to record those compliments. Are you going to have a compliments book? Are you going to write it in a journal every night?
Well, I've started, it was something that Sally mentioned in one of her lives with you in Sparkle and Shine, over a year ago now. I started a gratitude journal.
Oh, lovely.
From that. So whether it's even 2, 3, even like appreciated the beautiful frosty morning or whatever, if I haven't done anything specific that day, but that might be a place
definitely
to do that, because I'm doing that every evening anyway. So that might be somewhere to put that. Yeah.
Love it. Actually, and Sally's my guest tomorrow on the podcast, so have a listen.
Yes, I saw that, so I should look forward to listening to that.
Yes, she loved doing it. She absolutely loved it. It was great. I loved it too. It was brilliant. So Liz, anything else about how you're going to record your progress? Or do you need to think about that and get
I think so. I don't know whether to maybe make it, I think they need to be quite short term to start with, don't they? But I could definitely think about noting something every time I do a box change, as it were, bring out a new set of stuff, or even just things like wasn't tempted to go into a charity shop at all this month or something like that. Whatever it is.
What about taking your gratitude journal just a little bit further?
Okay.
And having it as a journal. I have a journal that I sort of spend 5-10 minutes writing in each evening, and I'll try and do, well, I actually try and do 10 things I'm grateful for each night, but I'll also talk about, I'll reflect. So it's not a dear diary, I've done such and such, it's a reflection. So I went to Winchester today and I noticed that my feelings or compulsion of wanting to go into the charity shop that in February were a 9 out of 10, actually here in May they're only a 4 out of 10. It's a noticing, it's a reflection. I mean, might that
actually, yes, I could easily do that. I mean, the book I bought in the paper chase sale is only about that big. It's meant to be, and it's 365 days, but I'm terrible for stationery. I did actually buy this one. I can't remember where I bought it from. So I think I could easily switch to this, because it's obviously bigger pages, and it's got Believe in Yourself, and every few pages it's got a nice little quote on it.
Well, this is part of believing in yourself. And if we go back at the things that we've talked about for you, it is about you coming to understand yourself a bit more.
Absolutely. So I think I might sort of switch books.
Brilliant.
And make that more reflective rather than just I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that,
Yeah, fantastic. Well, you're going to have this, and you can obviously have a little think and add more things to it. So now we're going to come to the action plan. This is about what inspired action are you going to take, tomorrow to start, to get you off on your 365-day no buy challenge. So, it could be make a decision on when you're going to start, or make a commitment. Write your plan out in fountain pen, Liz. So jot down a few actions that you're going to take right now, but I do want you to give this some thought once you've got this in, because obviously I'm very conscious that we're coming up to 9 o'clock as well.
Shall we really?
I know I always go over, but I was determined not to, so I am going to keep it. We are nearly there, but yes, let's think about your actions. Liz, you've already talked about that.
Lots of practical actions that I can do.
Yes, and when you see that particular friend, you're going to suggest that you go to a garden centre, or you go on a walk, or you do an activity, maybe go on a jewelry making course with her or something. I don't know, but you're learning, because don't forget you've got that learning fund.
Yes.
But whatever you do, you need to make sure you've eliminated anything to do with colour or style. It's got to be something quite neutral by the sounds of it. Cooking.
She's her personality you have to be prepared for, and I'm afraid I'm as blunt to her as she is to me, so it works in that respect, basically.
Okay, so just spend a couple of minutes jotting down your actions that have arisen in your head as a result of our work this evening. I've just remembered that actually in the Celebrate Your Success, we haven't talked about how you're going to celebrate your success on January the 17th, 2023, or whatever day that it is, or even if you go until December the 31st. So don't forget to think about how you will celebrate that success. I mean, one of the actions that I had on my one was to eliminate my temptations. And what I did was I unsubscribed from the Hobbs email, from the Kettlewell email. I unsubscribed from all those closed emails that popped through. So a bit like your tabs. I needed to do that so that I didn't have them coming through with the 20% off or the 50% off.
That's it. I mean, I've already unsubscribed from, is it Woolovers and Pure, because I got a couple of nice jumpers from their lovely rust coloured one. And I just thought, because once you're on the list, that's it, it's constant. So every time something comes up that I'm tempted to click on, I'm unsubscribing, and I'm definitely going to unsubscribe from the eBay Kettlewell notification.
I agree. So Lana, have you got any actions on your action plan?
Yes, so I've got 4 actions. I'm in a place actually where I can photograph what I've already got, so that can kickstart my scrapbook, because they're items that I'm still using. because they're still good, you know. Then block out diary time so that I've got my reviewing and planning, so that I can get looking at clothing. Get my style session booked in, and that's as far as I've got.
Fabulous. Liz, what about you?
I've actually decide a start date, but I think it'll be like the start of next week or something, just to give me time to do a bit of admin, something like that.
Yeah, and decide when you're going to end as well.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, start.
So Lana,
end.
maybe you have that start and end date. Lana, I think, can I also encourage you, just sorry, Liz, to interrupt. Can I also encourage you to, both of you, you've got to have your action on there. You've got to tell your family and friends. You've got to make a public announcement to your mum and set those rules in place. So you need to go back to your why, back to your rules, and you've got to make it really clear and articulate it with anyone. So there is no doubt whatsoever.
Okay.
And maybe you need to commit to updating them once or twice this year. You know, I'm doing really well with this no buy year, you know.
I'm not sure I need that negativity. I'll think about it.
That's fine then. But okay. Liz, what else is on your list?
Mine was sort of fairly practical. Oh, apart from decide on the learning development activity, obviously from the first, and I put refocus the journal. So I think that's something I can start on this evening. And yeah, obviously you think of ways to eliminate temptation. But I quite like what you said, Lana, about blocking out time to do that. So I think maybe because at the moment, I might just sort of spend 5 minutes just jotting a few notes down. But if I make that a bigger window of time for the journal, and then obviously I've got to then find myself some time to actually physically go through the wardrobes, buy the storage boxes, etc., etc. And I know I'm invigilating next week. So even though I obviously won't be buying anything new, I will be purposing my wardrobe. I don't think I'm going to physically have the time to start that. I suppose I could do some over the weekend.
But you could put by the end of February to have, my action is to have reorganized my wardrobe and created these surprise boxes.
Yes.
Or
I like that, surprise boxes.
Yeah, surprise boxes. Yes, but
and it's actually putting a date on it, isn't it?
That's what I want you to do. I want you to put dates on these things, make it accountable. And I'm sure that you will think of other things, but that's where that needs to go. Think of what action you need to take place to help you get on your way. I'll just go back to my little sheet. So rules, mindset, yes, tell people, eliminate the temptation. Think about the support you need. You know, whether there's any books or Facebook groups of other people that are doing this type of thing, you know, you might find that supportive. Maybe that's where you direct your, instead of coming off the eBay, maybe you've got a tab of other people who are doing this type of challenge this year. I've got to decide what you will do with the time and the money. Keep a diary or journal picture. And yes, I've also put here another benefit takeaway, which I didn't mention, could be that if you're traveling, it's about really getting to grips with what you've got so that you're going minimal, so that you really can pack a carry-on case. That will naturally come because you're drilling down how to create these outfits. And maybe one of your activities is about learning how to create more outfits from what you've got. So maybe it's you know, sending Lara a message to say, Lara, can you do me a video on such and such? You know, you've got to, I think Liz said to you before,
the capsule wardrobe is something I've never got to grips with because my capsule's probably the size of the space station.
Love it. Oh, right. And then in my pack, I've just got some space for notes. And then what I did do is a very simple version of literally what I was just describing on a week. You could just jot down your accessories, your clothes and your shoes and just say what you wore. But equally, you might prefer to have it landscape or do your own chart. I've just literally got a template in there which you can tweak and make your own, or totally disregard that and make another one. And there we are, everybody. Oh, look, I'm only 5 minutes over. That is pretty good for me. That is pretty good.
That's good going for it.
So there is my no buy year. And I think you'll agree, ladies, that we have looked at your confidence. I hope I've given you more confidence. We've looked at a structure, we've looked at your mindset, and we've looked at how you're going to achieve this challenge. Just quick reference to your 2 questions. I know we've pretty much covered this, but just going back on here, Lana, your question was how to deal with pre-loved clothing, as in what to look for, quality and longevity. I wrote down before the start of this session, I put know your style. I'll have a list of shops for you. I also put down look at fabrics, natural fabrics, look at edges and seams. That'll help you for longevity. Look at how well an item of a garment is made. And of course, something that what will naturally come out of this activity, Liz, is, and Lana, is seeing the cost per wear. Seeing that you've bought an item or a jacket for, whether it be £7.50 or £77.50, you're going to record, and I would encourage you to do this, record what you are wearing, how many times. It's a huge personal satisfaction in that, knowing that this goes no money. It's wonderful.
I always think about your pounds per wear with various things, because I pulled on my old faithful tan boots the other day, and I must have had those for at least 10 years. They've been rehealed and sold more times than enough, and they are so comfy, and you can wear them with jeans or skirts, whatever. And I always think, oh, these definitely owe me nothing.
Exactly. And wouldn't it be wonderful to get to the end of this year and look at the things in your wardrobe, and at the end of this year be doing a clean out, a declutter list, because they're underneath their arms, they're all deodorantly and yucky, or the seam splitting, or they've gone faded because you've actually worn them.
Yes, got the value out of them.
Exactly, because part of your problem is you've got so many clothes, you haven't worn them enough. That's why your wardrobe is getting jam-packed even more. So actually, by wearing them, you will naturally discard some this time next year. And whether you replace them because they're old faithfuls or you move on, that's for another time. So Lana, does that help you with your question?
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, definitely.
And then Liz, yours was, how do I stop justifying buying in charity shops and on eBay? Well, I put break the habit. I put break the habit, delete the app, recognize your triggers. What time of the day do you normally go on eBay, or is it Sunday at 6 o'clock? Or
yeah, it's probably boredom in the evenings, frankly.
Okay, so you need to look at that, and maybe this is why I want you to go back to your notes for this session and look at what the triggers are. What pattern of behavior are you in when you're tempted to order? Okay. I also put there that you could have visual reminders of your challenge. I think that would help you. And I wanted about some kind of vision board to help you stay on track, so that when you see Winchester, you see something else that you love and not those particular charity shops.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, ladies, any other questions or any questions you have for me? Anything else you'd like to know about secrets of a successful no buy year? Or do you think?
I think we've got plenty to think about.
Brilliant. I've just got one more thing for you to think about. Okay. I'd like to ask you this question, please. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being absolutely fantastic, 0 being, oh, I'm very, very nervous. How did you feel about this workshop? Pop it in the chat box. Before you came on this evening, how did you feel about this workshop? Or put the words down.
Oh, why can't I?
You can't. Yes, sorry.
This is just, I found it now. It's okay. I found it.
Are you sure? Or if not, shout it out. Okay. So Lana, you felt a 3. Are you able to put 3 words to associate with that number 3?
Feeling a bit overwhelmed, lacking in confidence around, how it would relate to my experience so far, and not quite sure if I was in the right space to be really starting to focus on.
Do you feel that you can embark upon this challenge now?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I would absolutely say I'm a 9.5, and the only reason I'm a 0.5 is because it's now the actual implementing. So it's not an overwhelm. It's like, right, now I need to go and do some work around this now. But it's also pulling out that emotional stuff that I need to just start working with.
Brilliant. So Liz was a 5, wondering where and how to start. So there was just a little bit of curiosity, anxiousness, fear, and trepidation. Okay, and how do you feel now at the end? So put your number in now, how you're feeling after the 2 hours that we've had together, and any words to associate with that. Ah, fantastic. Well done, Dab. Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. That's wonderful. Thank you. Well, look, thank you for being so very, very honest. Thank you for participating fully. You know, these workshop sessions are only good as the people in it contributing. So you've got a 10 and a 9.5 because you have committed and you're doing the work. So thank you. And I think all that remains for me to say is, if when you get off the call tonight or tomorrow, you think, oh, I really like this, or room for improvement, I'd love it if you just wrote me a little few paragraphs that I could use as a testimonial. And you know, I'm always open to even better ifs. So if you think there's something that I can do to make this even better, please do share that with me. So thank you so much. And you know where I am. I want to support you. You're both in Sparkle and Shine. We can either do it privately, just the 3 of us, or we can do it a bit more publicly within the group if you want others to hear about your journey. All right. Well, anyway, I'm going to say take care. Night. And thank you so much. And I'll email you the booklet. Probably. Okay. Yes. And if it's too big to go, I don't know, will I need to retransfer it, Lana? You're the expert. Or
No,
it should be on email.
Should be small enough to document. Get on email.
Yeah. Okay. I'll email that now, and then the recording will obviously process, and I'll probably have to I'll probably put that up on YouTube on my unlisted, send you the link so it's private just for you too, so that you've got that, but that won't be until tomorrow. All right.
Brilliant.
Thanks,
thank you both.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks. Bye. Bye.